You're watching the Mello TV Evening News Brief. I'm Javon Thomas, and here are the top stories making headlines at this hour. 13 ministers of state sworn in by Governor General. Senator Marlon Morgan appointed Parliamentary Secretary. Opposition puts government on notice. Prime Minister outlines vision for Jamaica. And the Jamaica Customs Agency hosts anti-corruption roundtable with key stakeholders and policymakers. And now the details. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness's 13 appointed ministers of state were sworn in by Governor General Sir Patrick Allen earlier today at King's House. Additionally, Senator Marlon Morgan has been appointed Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. The Prime Minister, in addressing the state ministers, pointed out that with these new appointments, his administration is reiterating its commitment to fulfilling its historic 2025 mandate to transform Jamaica into a peaceful, productive, and prosperous nation.
This ceremony is a public affirmation of trust, responsibility, but most important, continuity. But it is also a clear statement of renewal. Our government was returned to office with a clear mandate to accelerate the transformation of Jamaica. The people voted for performance over promise. And this meant continuation, because continuity is the scaffolding upon which progress is built.
Governor General Sir Allen reminded the state ministers that in taking the oath of office comes in pledging to lead with integrity and rise above partisan interest in the interest of the people of Jamaica.
By this appointment, you are entrusted with responsibilities that strengthen the executive arm of our government and contribute to the delivery of excellent service to our citizens. This ceremony is more than symbolic. By taking the oath of allegiance and the oath of office, you solemnly pledge to serve with integrity, to rise above personal ambition or partisan interests, and to ensure that the initiatives of government redound to the benefit of all Jamaicans.
The Governor General further reminded the state ministers that leadership in government requires the highest standard of accountability.
You are called upon to translate policy into meaningful action, thereby enabling transformation across the entire nation. This requires diligence, respect for process, and an unwavering commitment to public service. I remind you that leadership in government demands the highest standards of accountability, transparency, and fairness. Let your stewardship earn public trust through consistent action, principled leadership, and responsiveness to our people.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Mark Golding stated firmly that it will be holding the government accountable for the promises it made to the country in the general election campaign.
We on our side have espoused a set of policies and programs that we feel are necessary for Jamaica to move beyond the anemic, stagnant levels of economic growth, which have been a feature of modern Jamaica, and in particular over the last 10 years, and take us to higher levels of growth that can generate the kind of revenues to support investments in the people, social investments that are necessary in infrastructure and in our human capital that can become a self-reinforcing virtuous circle of growth that can take Jamaica to her destiny as a prosperous nation, as opposed to one which has achieved so many great things in certain areas, but in the area of economics and how the life of our people unfolds on a daily basis, we are underperforming. We intend to hold this government to account for all the promises that they made to the people of Jamaica in the course of the last election in seeking a third term of office and in achieving higher levels of performance than they've been able to achieve thus far. And we intend to also put forward our own proposals as to how we would do that so that Jamaica could be a place in which the aspirations of our people can be met right here on this rock and not by way of having to migrate or seek solace elsewhere.
Mr. Golding, in his address at yesterday's opening of Jamaica's new parliament and official swearing-in of senators and members of parliament at Gordon House, said that for unity to be achieved, there must be tangible efforts by the JLP-led government.
The Prime Minister, in his inaugural address at King's House, emphasized the importance of the country coming together, of unity, and so on. And I think nobody in Jamaica would express a contrary view. Unity is strength, and we must all strive for it. However, it cannot be achieved by platitudes or just empty words. One hand can't clap. And it is important, if we want to build consensus around important topics, that there be some action, some actual tangible effort to achieve consensus.
At the same time, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness doubled down on his aspiration to transform Jamaica in such a way that sustained economic growth, low crime rates, affordable housing, and first world infrastructure are the order of the day.
Within these walls, that vision must be translated into legislation. That wisdom must be sharpened through debate. That integrity must be lived out in the decisions and in the actions we take. Together, over the last 9 years, we have walked a long road. As the leader of the opposition pointed out, we have halved the national debt, restored fiscal stability, created historic levels of employment, and halved poverty. We have built new infrastructure, increased wages, invested in health, education, and we have halved murders in this country, and we have brought crime down to 30-year lows. Yet, as I've said before, today is not about resting on our laurels. This new parliament is charged not with maintaining the status quo, but with advancing to a higher plane of national development.
Dr. Holness also insisted that the government's third term in office is not about personal legacy. Rather, it's about Jamaica achieving nothing less than greatness.
This reform will make clear what the public rightly expects its elected representatives to do: regular attendance and active participation in sittings and committees, diligent oversight of ministries and agencies, transparent and ethical use of public resources, and continuous visible engagement with constituents. It will also create a framework to measure performance, improve accountability, and strengthen public trust in institutions. This is not about restricting members, it is about elevating the standards of service. It is about ensuring that every seat in this House is not just occupied, but actively contributing to Jamaica's progress and prosperity. This third term is not about legacy, it is about destiny. It is not about what I leave behind, but what Jamaica must achieve. And what Jamaica must achieve is nothing less than greatness.
In other news, the Jamaica Customs Agency, JCA, hosted its anti-corruption roundtable panel discussion earlier today, bringing together key stakeholders, policymakers, and thought leaders in the fight against corruption. Guest speaker Brigadier Elon Clark, in his address, said that corruption is more than money lost. It steals dignity, trust, and opportunity.
Corruption is not just about loss of money. It is about dignity stolen. It is about hope eroded. It is about the slow, invisible weakening of the very foundation on which nations are built. And so the question before us today is not whether Jamaica can reduce corruption. The question is whether Jamaica can rise above it. Whether we can choose together to be a nation where trust is not the exception, it is the expectation.
Brigadier Clark also urged all Jamaicans to make integrity visible in daily life, stressing that the fight is a shared responsibility across government, business, civil society, and citizens.
Jamaica, like many countries, has been struggling with corruption for decades. That's no secret. So how do we make change? The very first thing we need to do is make integrity visible, tangible, and real. When someone resists bribe, celebrate it. Don't just bury it. When a company compares and competes fairly and win, we must highlight it. Don't dismiss it. When a child sees that doing right can lead to real reward, we must tell that story. Do not ignore it. Corruption is visible. Therefore, trust and integrity must also be visible.
From the Mello TV News Center, I am Javon Thomas. Good evening.